can't imagine how hard it is to be one of the first to adopt new NVIDIA chips in production for a large customer. Working with an AI agent is not dissimilar to working with a junior engineer. People want Cloud Code not because they want an agent to work for them. They want Cloud Code because it's a hyped tool and everyone's talking about that.
Can people use agentic tooling within the hiring process?
No. Very task-oriented, very mechanical. This is a cohort of engineers that are at risk right now.
For the people that don't know, what does Nebius do?
Nebius is a cloud company, but because we've started pretty late in the game, so like just for the scale, 4 years ago there was no Nebius. 3.5 years ago there was an idea that we know what to build, and it turned out something completely different. The current shape of being the AI-oriented cloud, so mainly focused on GPUs, AI workloads, etc., and came up about like 2.5 years ago. So we were late to the game for the cloud stuff, and we had to find a niche. And ChatGPT was released, Llama was released, everything started moving to the direction that we see it now. And we decided, well, this might be something we can be successful at, and we built that. So we are the AI cloud, but mainly focused on AI-centric workloads, mainly enabled by GPUs, and having access to an enormous amount of GPUs is one of our main assets that we build upon.
It's interesting that you said you're kind of late to the game, and it could be my ignorance, but doing my research, I thought you were a little bit early. Like, who are people that were earlier in the space or companies?
I mean, the general cloud business. Well, come on. AWS released their first service in what was it, like 2003?
But specifically AI cloud.
I think this is a little bit of an artificial niche, to be honest, right? Because while the demand for AI workloads is immense and it will only grow, but with the whole penetration of the market and growth, it will blur. And I think in 5 years, we won't be talking AI clouds. It's going to be clouds again, just clouds. But even for AI-specific workloads, there were a number of American companies that were way earlier than we were. Like CoreWeave is a nice example. Lambda Labs were pretty famous when we started. Crusoe is still somewhat relevant, etc. Most of these companies kind of phased out of cloud business and focused more on building large-scale facilities, etc. But we were definitely not the first.
Yeah. Who are some of your customers that people will recognize?
It's a hard question for me because I'm not sure which customers I'm supposed to, not supposed to disclose.
Okay.
But we are pretty proud about the ones that we can disclose there on our website. But I think we've had a chat with every major AI lab out there, for sure. Some of those are our customers. A lot of AI friendly enterprises, the companies that you don't really think about as this is an AI company, actually have a lot of AI going in the background, and they are also the customers. So I think there are some logos that everyone will recognize, for sure.
It feels like a very interesting space. Also niche right now, but maybe it's going to normalize later on. For the engineers that want to go into this field because they love infrastructure, they love AI, might be a good match. What do you typically look for in the capabilities that they bring to the table?
Well, there are several streams, right? So first there is the general infrastructure engineer track, right? So anyone who is knack for infrastructure, who understands the responsibility and the scale and distributed systems is always welcome to the team. So we just hire those people on spot. We don't require any prior AI experience. Being the cloud, and especially the cloud on the frontier of the hardware, you can't imagine how hard it is to be one of the first to adopt new NVIDIA chips in production for a large customer. This comes with the toil. So naturally people who are deep into like systems programming, figuring out what's wrong with the drivers on the hardware level, etc., also in great demand. Low-level storage people, because again, AI workloads, it's not just about GPUs, right? It's about immense demand for performance throughout the stack, networking and storage included. Like we routinely have customers who, download around like hundreds of gigabytes per second of data sets while training, for their training runs. You need infrastructure and services to sustain that. So that comes in handy. And with the recent developments, like now newly found focus on inference, also everyone who knows how to write kernels, program GPUs at a low level is also like in high demand. And those, I think, are one of the most well-paid and in high demand people in the market nowadays, because we definitely see the shift from training to inference, as in running models. And in order to make inference really well behaving and performant and everything, you need to change a lot at the lowest level of how those models are run on GPUs. And I think there are several hundreds of people in the top cohort out there in the world.
Yeah,
not more.
Can you walk me through your hiring process? So if someone is excited about this, wants to apply to Nebius, do you have the same hiring process depending on teams, or how do you typically have that?
It depends on the person, the background, and what we are talking about. But in general, our hiring process is more or less standard for everyone, for all venues. It might have specialized interviews for if you're talking about some deep expertise, but in general, we have a lot of coding sessions, we have algorithmic sessions for everyone. Always, we tend to have systems design, for example, but again, it's optional because, for example, for a low-level GPU programmer that has spent years writing C code, probably systems design for distributed systems is not the best way to assess them, right? But in general, we have some specialized sections. Then after those interviews, if it's not a very unique case for the expertise, like someone been building networking stacks for the past 10 years, probably will lean towards the relative to the relevant team, right? But if it's not, we usually don't choose teams at the very beginning. We make sure the interviews are passed. We extend an offer, but it's an offer to join the company, not the particular team.